So now, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the networking session and hoped, meeting the representatives and other talents as well. And now we have our academia lab with two research presentations. Today we have Julia and Chaitya Jain. So Julia is a food scientist at Hawkstone Farms, Master of Science in FoodTech at Wageningen University, and co-founder of the Wageningen Alternative Protein Project. Chaitya is a Research Development Intern at Mars and Master of Science in FoodTech, the European Masters in Food student at Wageningen University as well. Our host today is Vito Shukla. He is a food scientist, technologist, and activist, also a member at the Institute of Food Technologists Association and the American Association of Precision Medicine. So, guys, thank you for taking the time for joining us here today. And Vito, please take it from here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anna, and thank you all for being here. And welcome to Academia Lab, where ProteinX Foundation helps transform theoretical learning into viable industry solutions. And then today we're being joined by Julia and Chaitya. How are you two doing with us today?
Great. Everything is going great. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, everything's going great and really nice to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. We're going to start off with Julia, our first speaker. Julia studied emulsion science and consumer perception of foods as a graduate research student at Wageningen University and Research, and has recently joined as a food scientist at Hoxton Farms. We're looking forward to learning more about your work in the alternative plant-based ingredient field. Julia, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm gonna now try to share my screen. Hopefully that will be working. It is. Okay, fabulous. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah?
You're awesome.
Okay, I assume yes. Hopefully yes. So thank you everyone for being here today. Today I'm going to talk about my journey, a journey of lipids, alternative protein, and food science. Basically, what is the parkour that I did from studying my master degrees to how I'm part of Hawkstone Farms as a food science intern today. So I studied two master degrees at the same time, which was consumer and sensory science and also food technology, both at Wageningen University. And I'm currently today sitting in London, where I'm a food science intern at Hawkstone Farms. And so my intention is really to inspire other students and also young researchers that really want to get into alt protein. So this is a little bit how I'm going to be structuring the talk. Is I'm first going to talk about, well, what kind of academic training, what kind of research did I do at grad school, what courses did I take, what did my research look like, and then something that's very important to me, which is well, how did I really find those opportunities for afterwards, and how did I actively build my own field and my community locally in alternative protein. I'm going to talk very dearly about the Wageningen Alternative Protein Project and how that really later on allowed me to transfer my skills and find an opportunity that was aligned with my personal mission. And there I will take a small moment to really highlight what is the importance of food science in alternative protein research and in industry, really, because I think that sometimes this might be, overlooked. And so, first of all, my academic training and research. Well, I studied food technology. I guess a lot of the people here studied food science or are studying food science. I was very interested in plant protein in the beginning and in plant products and in how to, change everything and make people stop eating animals and just eat plants. So I really focused myself in the molecular side of things, like what are things composed of, what are foods composed of, and I did a lot of analytical chemistry and a lot of instrumental courses. And that also led me to study a bit of physical chemistry. And I was particularly interested in flavor and gastronomy. So really, transferring that molecular approach to foods to how do foods taste and how to combine them and what happens chemically and physically when you combine them. And then, a little bit more transversal on ingredients and product formulation. Yet, I wanted to be closer to the product because I also believe that food only has a meaning and only is important because consumers are there. And therefore, I also studied consumer and sensory science. And I was mainly interested in the sensory side of things, like how do we interiorize and perceive foods. And I also explored a bit into product communication and this cross-modal interactions, how we generate expectations and how expectations really change the way that we experience food. And that also allowed me to like discover that I like data analysis a lot. And well, so I did a lot of things. I was very busy, no free weekends, but yeah, I was very excited. And then during my graduate research, I did mostly lipid chemistry, did a bit of like protein methods as well. And my graduate research was mainly centered on oleosomes, the potential of oleosomes in plant-based food emulsions, and I compared them to animal materials, animal ingredients, in the present case, egg-yolk LDL. Now, I will just give a very general overview because a lot of these results are still ongoing and a lot of this research is still going, but just to give you a little taste. And so basically, oleosomes, they are these natural lipid droplets that are inside of plant seeds. And what I did was observing that their protein and their composition, this single layer of proteins and phospholipids, is very similar to a very, very important emulsifier, which are low density lipoproteins that are from egg yolk. So, for example, why your mayonnaise is a great and strong emulsion. So basically, I looked at how these two units were different, but they were also very similar. And I studied like what was the physical stability that they provided and compared them, and what was the oxidative stability that they provided and compared them when doing emulsions. So in this case, emulsions, think of like dairy alternatives or like emulsions in the case of like sauces and spreads and these kind of things. I did a ton of stuff. So I did SDSPH and I did chromatography and surface, see the potential. And I also did nuclear magnetic resonances and microscopy. I worked a ton. Very exciting, very interesting to like really learn the biochemical analysis methodology and instrument. And yeah, it was really great, very intense. What I can share is that, well, oleosomes, which are these natural lipid droplets found in plants, they can show improved physical and oxidative stability over animal ingredients. They are very sustainable and they can be extracted in very economical ways. There's a couple of startups actually that are working with oleosomes, and they are promising for encapsulating and delivering fat soluble components. So think of like medicines, but also like cell culture media. And there is a lot of ongoing research with unpublished results that I guess that in the next times they will be published. So follow Marianne Bell's lab at Wageningen Food Chemistry. She is a PI of this project, of course. For my other master degree, I was very interested in communication strategies, especially for animal-free products. I worked with indulgent products, so think of things that are like fatty and sugary, and we like them a lot and they're attractive. I was particularly interested in cross-modal interactions and sensory expectations. So how the colors that you see make you think that the flavor that you're perceiving is different. I played with different communication strategies, so names, colors, formats, images, phrases. And I tested mainstream consumers because the dream is that everybody consumes more animal-free products in the future. I can't say much more about this project either. This was done with Unilever UK, with the Future Flavor Department. They're doing amazing work in changing the way people eat and doing a lot of plant-based products. So they're awesome. So after that, I really want to stress about why is it so important to actively build your own field and your own community, in the sense that alternative protein is something very new. There's nothing, like books are being written and companies are being started and products are being launched. So, the same is going to happen with your own training and with your own community. You need to create it. So one of the places that I found a lot of growth was in entrepreneurial challenges. So all of these hackathons and challenges to like create a startup idea. It allows you to find peers that are like-minded and that they have similar interests and that are hand-on and they're curious. So, it's awesome to meet people like that. And it's also because industry is rapidly developing, and really putting yourself in an entrepreneurial case makes you really look at what's going on in industry and place yourself in like what's out there in markets. So to me, this was also really helpful to like understand why is it thriving or where can it thrive. I participated of a challenge with a friend from EPFL in Switzerland. We won. It was a great experience. I learned a lot from the scientific part, from the business side. So I strongly encourage everyone out there getting to challenges, meet cool people, and invent new solutions to things. Also with GFI in Wageningen with other 4 peers, we created the Wageningen Alternative Protein Project. We created content and made talks and invited people to scientists to give talks about alternative proteins. So just build your community, make other people excited about what you're doing, and then that's going to be very enriching, and it's just going to open so many opportunities. And that really allowed me to grab all of that knowledge that I had gotten in my first year and a half, and really find a mission, and really gave shape to everything. So community building, finding people that are like to you and do it hands-on, super important to finding your way into alt protein and into anything, I believe, in a more larger extent. And well, finally, I am an intern now at Hawkstone Farms. I will be until the end of March. And Hawkstone Farms has allowed me to like transfer all of my skills and have this mission alignment really present for me, and have my day-to-day work really have a lot of meaning for myself. And I just wanted to give a little of a couple of words on food science and why is this important in this budding alternative protein research and industry that we are living. So Hawkstone Farms is a company that grows real animal fat without the animals. So they're cultivated fat. Well, we are a cultivated fat company. We're in London, UK. Basically, we're growing adipocyte cells and bioreactors, creating great ingredients and making alternative or animal-free products delicious. That's the mission, which is wonderful. And they are a team of synthetic cell biologists, tissue and bioprocess engineers, and computational scientists that they're using this very computational directed approach to solving all the huge challenges that are in cultivated meat. And there is me, the food scientist, and it's very exciting. It makes you realize how important food science is for alternative protein. And there's so many skills that you can transfer from analytical chemistry, from the product side, from the communication side, from just formulating, from physics, from soft solid rheology. So, all of these companies that are budding at the moment, food scientists are going to be the ones that are going to be able to deliver those products. So don't underestimate yourself out there. There are awesome opportunities waiting out for you. And well, just finally, I was pleased to meet you all. I hope that this was somehow inspiring. Somebody can say, oh, I also did those kind of courses. I also have those kind of experiences. Oh, community building, that can be cool. And I hope I inspired some of you. I wanted to make a bit of this opportunity to say, Hawkstone Farms, we are hiring a bioprocess technician. So if anybody is interested, you can check out the position on LinkedIn and email to careers@Hawkstone Farms. You can also email me. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I think I went a bit over time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Julia. We're going to have a couple questions for you, and if there's any in the audience, please feel free to type it out in the chat. But I will start us off with the first question. In your work with Hoxton Farms, you're working with all these different scientists, right? Can you speak a little bit about collaboration in the alternative meat field and how collaboration is necessary throughout? You've even touched about it in your work at Wageningen.
So yeah, multidisciplinarity, very important, but yeah, in cultivated meat, but I think in any aspect of the food industry with any range of products, maybe just in any field of science. So you're going to have a cell biologist that's going to be developing and changing the cells or culturing the cells. And you're going to have a tissue engineer that it's really assembling them. And you're going to have somebody in the bioreactors that's going to, make them thrive and multiply and grow. And then I'm going to get those cells and I'm going to make a wonderful product with having cells as a raw material. So really, we are all like pieces of a puzzle that we are all interconnected. It's challenging, especially because nobody has done it before. So let's say that the boundaries when you're in a new industry or a new field, they're more blurry. So sometimes you step a bit on more one side than the other. That's also very interesting. Also, a lot of opportunities to learn thanks to that. But yeah, I don't think it differs that much from other fields, to be honest.
Interesting. Thank you. So you mentioned that this is a very nascent field, a very new and novel field, this novel proteins. Could you tell me a little bit, what if I'm unsure that I am capable of being in this field, but I'm really interested in it? I'm sure you're very inspiring to many of our audience. What would you say to them about getting into this field?
I would say that food is I think I have some echo, but I would say that consumers always want the same out of food. They want their food to be nutritious, and they want their food to taste good, and they want their food to be attractive. And the skills that allow you to do that between different product ranges or product types, they're really transferable. And this is something that, again, I did not take a course called Cultivated Meat at university. I wish. I tried to create it, but I didn't succeed. But that doesn't mean I cannot work in making cultivated fat tasty if I was able to make, you know, oil blends tasty. That's a little bit of the thinking that everyone can that can be helpful for a lot of people. So if you can make something tasty or nutritious or safe, that is transferable across different ranges. Yeah.
Great. That was very insightful. So skills are transferable, and you can definitely make it in whatever field you want to be. You just have to know just a little bit and work hard. I'm going to leave off with one last question for you. Is there anything you wish you knew before moving from academia to industry?
I think that you have to be able to multitask better. I'm not saying that it's more stressful in the sense that also when you're in academia, you're working alone and then your results depend on your own performance. That can be very pressuring for some people. It was for me. Whether in maybe in industry you work with people, with a lot of people towards a same goal. So you realize that a lot of the weight is like better carried at the same time by a lot of people, but you do need to be able to multitask because then you're applying your different skills in like different parts of the value chain or in the production chain. So you're doing one thing here, but you're also helping that other person doing that and that other project. And so I think that one of the things I'm still working on is on that project management, self project management, and that availability to not be overwhelmed because my analysis today didn't come out great. That shouldn't disencourage me of not doing all the other projects that I need to also be doing today. So I think that would be the most important thing. I don't think you can learn that without doing it. I think it's something really experience based. So yeah, good luck everyone.
And with that, thank you, Julia. If you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to Julia at Hawkstone Farms. But up next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Chaitya Jain. He also attended Wageningen as part of the European Masters in Food Studies before becoming an intern in research and development at Mars. Chaitya, I'm looking forward to hearing about your EMFS and how it's preparing you for industry. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'd love to share my screen. And of course, it was great to hear actually Julia's journey through Wageningen. And it's always nice to see that a lot of experiences that have taken place in the last 1-2 years, just so that we can, shape and inspire this path and have a lot of people actually become food scientists, because I think that's really important as well. But I can just share my screen so I can. Can you see my screen?
Looks great.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me, and it's great. I'll be really excited to share my journey from academia to the industry. And I think there's been numerous experiences that have happened in the last couple of years that have helped me transform my path from actually being a part and of the academia and actually moving on to the industry. Um, so I'll definitely love to take you through this journey and maybe inspire a lot of people to actually pursue this path, because I think the field of food science is more exciting than ever, and I think it's great to be part of this journey in the next couple of years. So a bit about myself before I start. I think so. I'm an avid food enthusiast. So I think it's something that I'm really proud of saying, that I love everything and anything around food. And I think it's this passion that I really wish I see in a lot of people also, that um, to just pursue that passion that they have for food and building a better food system in the future. And I think this is the passion that I had that brought me to Wageningen to pursue this journey. And I think start off with the EMFS program. So I came in last year at Wageningen University from India to pursue this journey, and I started with my master's in food technology at Wageningen through the unique EMFS program. It's a great program that I love to take you through, and how it really shaped my passion for food even more and really made me believe in it more than ever. So, the European Masters Food Studies program is actually a transformative journey for me, because it takes you through 4 academic modules, each focusing on a specific topic. So, we start off with Wageningen focusing on food structure and behavior, moving on to consumer studies at UCC Cork, then going into pure food sciences and food technology, where we talk about heat transfer, mass transfer at AgroParitech, and then moving to Lund in Sweden, where we focus on product development and fostering new innovations. Building scientific and research skills, but you also work on building project management skills, communication, teamwork, and collaborate with people from different backgrounds that allows you to even eventually grow with them. And I think that's really important in today's time, that we acquire these skills along the way, because that's what will frame our successful career for the global food industry. And I think it's really important to also understand shape our interests, because I know many people don't have a specific interest or don't know where exactly to focus on, whether they want to go into pure food technology, consumer sciences, dairy technology, or sustainability alone. But I think what this program does is gives you different insights into the different aspects of the food industry, and allows you to really get a glimpse of what it would look like when you enter the global food industry once you finish with your studies. And I think that's really important. But of course, I think the journey is also not just about being part of the program and doing academics alone. And I think as food scientists, it's really important to understand that we need to step out of our comfort zones and start thinking out of the box, because I believe that the food industry is transforming in a way that it hasn't before. And I think it's required more than ever to do more things, open up perspectives to concepts that we never thought were possible, and make a difference from the time we are in the universities ourselves. There are a lot of examples that I would love to take you through, and what all I was able to do, and kind of, open my perspective to things that were never possible, I thought. One of the few projects that I started off with was something called Meta Health. We wanted to focus on building sustainable diets and consume and change consumer behavior using technology, because I think one thing that we really want to focus on is that going in the future, people will rely on technology more and more, and we want to make sure we can leverage technology in such a way that people are more
Yeah, sorry to
more.
interrupt you. It looks like we lost your screen share. Do you mind sharing your screen again?
Yep, I'm so sorry.
No worries. We want to see your beautiful slides.
Am I back now?
Great.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Yeah, so I think this was one thing that we really wanted to focus on, is that how we can leverage technology for the future and make it more relevant to the consumers to understand what they should be doing to have a sustainable diet. So what the idea was to have this app that would monitor your wrist body temperature using a certain algorithm, and use innovative biomonitoring through enzymatic sensing layers in the wristwatches that would allow to indicate metabolic health. Because I mean, the current apps and current user interfaces normally allow you to track your heart rate, your steps, but I don't think they indicate your overall health, well-being, and health. And I think metabolic health will be really crucial going forward. And this is something that we really want to achieve in the future, because the more and more reliance we have on technology, the more we want from it. And I think it's really going to help us frame certain solutions that people could use very easily without putting in much effort, and keeping them aware of what is going on actually in their lives. And we really had this opportunity to present this as one of the winning concepts last day at the hackathon 2020, where we got really good feedback, and we saw positive feedback from people thinking that this will really change the way we look at leveraging technology, because normally we don't associate technology with food. We really think that they're two separate things, but I think we can really have small things that could really impact sustainable diets for the future. But then moving from technology to new age proteins. And I think this is also a good thing about being a part of academia, that you can take on projects that don't need to be in a particular direction, but you can really explore your passion, explore your beliefs, what you love. And I think moving from technology, we started working on new age protein ingredients that could really change the way we make plant-based products, and also building the circular economy that we always want. So the focus was on using primarily sources that are considered waste from the food processing industry, like seeds and skins, and transforming them into innovative products that could really change the way we make uh, nutritious and healthy products for the future, using a biorefinery concept, which will allow us to not only extract one ingredient, but actually build a chain of multiple ingredients that could be available to different platforms. And this will be very helpful for the future, because what we really see is that we're coming up with new ingredients every month, every year. But the question always is that, are we also utilizing each and every aspect within the food chain to its fullest? And if you closely look within the food chain itself, we see that a lot of resources are still not utilized to its fullest potential. And this is what we want to do. I think we want to bring out more from the current food chain, and especially sources that we consider waste, which are actually not waste but carry a lot of value, and actually bring it back to the consumers. And we worked with this project with a few corporates like Dollar and GEA, who formulated our idea in such a way that it could be industry ready, and presented for the Rethink Protein Challenge early this year. And of course, from technology to new age proteins, and now moving into packaging. And I think as a food scientist, it becomes even more and more exciting, because as you move on, you see that there's more to it than just ingredients and the food itself. And I think packaging is becoming even more important than before. And moving forward, I had the opportunity to work and design a dream collaboration for Mars that could help change their packaging solutions for the future. And this is a snapshot from the solution that we presented just a couple of weeks back. And it was really important and exciting to see bigger companies also joining this journey, because normally we think of the bigger companies being the culprit and really not taking care of what their product portfolio looks like. But I think it's really nice to see that bigger companies are now joining this journey of actually changing the way they make their products. And it's also not just about what's inside, but also what's on the outside. And I think it's very interesting to see that, uh, to see a very holistic approach to food, because of course we want to innovate with ingredients, the texture, the flavor, but also the packaging becomes even more relevant with the global crisis of pollution, global warming all across the globe. And it plays a very important part, especially in food, because we use more than hundreds of materials to package our day-to-day foods. And it's very important that we keep a close eye on these solutions while focusing on transforming um, the food itself. But so this is very interesting, and this is why it becomes so important as a food technologist to explore these different options. And this is why it's so exciting and so amazing to be a food scientist, because you don't not only get to work on one aspect, but it actually you get to work on different fields that you probably were never exposed to when you normally study. For my example, I never did packaging technology, but I really loved the fact that I could change the way our products are packaged. And even the new age protein ingredients, it's something that's so great to see happening, and it's a great time to be a part of, because this is what Wageningen allowed me to do, is take on these projects with my studies and really give a new perspective to things, open my mind to things that were possibly not possible maybe 5 years back, and also make a difference with these projects, maybe at a small scale, but make a project from now itself and make that difference happen. And this kind of laid the foundation for me to understand what I really wanted to do and wanted to achieve in the future. And this is when I made that transformation from academia to the industry and landed up with Mars as part of the global innovation team. So, like I said, I think it's very interesting to see how bigger companies are now fostering changes for the future. And within the global innovation team, what I currently work on is scoping new ideas and product concepts that they could add to the innovation pipeline. And I think that's so really it's really beautiful to see the fact that bigger companies have now opened up to set the future food scene and are allowing students like myself to actually come on board and change their products in a way that possibly was not going to happen last year or maybe a few years back. And what my focus is going to be on is fermented food concepts that they could add to their innovation pipeline and product portfolio and leverage that power of fermentation that we really wish we can see in different products. Of course, I would love to reveal more about what's going on, but it's under confidentiality. I really can't say much, but I think what's really important and exciting to see is that the fact that there is a lot going on in the phase that people are more excited than ever to see new products take shape and new flavors, new textures. Health has suddenly become more important, and we're really moving away from the traditional foods of having high sugar, high salt foods, and creating new products that could be more natural and getting more smiles on consumer faces. And I think it's that approach that brought me to Mars, the fact that they're really interested in making a change to the consumers and allowing us to create new product concepts right from the start. And it's not that I have a fermentation background or such, but I think they invest in that power in students to really bring that change. And I think that's something very beautiful to see. And of course, just before ending, I think my academia journey and my industry journey so far has one learning, and I wish to share with everyone is that we need to believe in the fact that food has the ability to touch people's lives in a way beyond beyond our imagination, which is to say that it will always have an impact on our lives, whether it was 10 years before or 10 years in the future. I think we'll always bond over food, we'll always discuss food, love it as ever. And that's why we need to commit to it to bring that happiness and health through people. And as food technologists, we really believe that we have that power to make that change happen. We always see people from different streams like computer science or tech from the tech industry making disruptive technologies and disrupting the world. But I think food technologies will really lay that future and disrupt a lot of people's lives, maybe in a good way, but really there's a lot of stuff lying ahead. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. And of course, feel free to get in touch. And it was really nice to kind of share that passion that we have as food technologists to take on different projects and kind of change the way we have our foods, consume it, love it more than ever. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chaitya. We'll have just a couple quick questions for you. I found it really powerful that you said you didn't really know a lot about food packaging, but were able to compete in this food packaging challenge and was a finalist, so congratulations. What other skills have you learned? And would you recommend these sorts of challenges or other things to students?
Um, Personally, I would always definitely recommend these kind of projects to students. I think number one, because it opens your minds to things that we never thought about. And I think that's very important because as a student, when you enter either doing your bachelor's or your master's, you come in with a very maybe narrow mindset that, you know, I need to focus on getting the courses done and want to focus on the fact that I get a job at the end of it. But I think what these challenges do is make you step out of that comfort zone and really take on things that possibly are very powerful in their own way. For example, which I talk about my journey of taking on the packathon. Uh, I have never thought of packaging in that way before, but I think through the journey of maybe 2 or 3 months, I was able to really, I think my thinking about packaging changed completely, and the kind of impact it has on not only the industry, but also globally, the impact that it has uh, through the various global challenges that we want to tackle. So I think definitely these challenges really open up your mindsets to things that possibly you love but have never explored, and give you that right thing that you want to do in your life ahead.
Very interesting. Yeah, thank you. We'll end off with one last question for you. Is there anything that you wish you knew or would like to share with the rest of our audience today that you think will help them in their careers?
Uh, I think one thing that I wish I knew was the fact that I really wish I knew that food science was amazing a couple of years ago. I think it took us it took a lot of thinking and time to realize that it's probably one of the most important things and uh, in life. I think we've always focused too much on tech and the tech industry disrupting it again and again. But I think it's time that we really believe in ourselves. I think if you love food and have the passion for it and want to make a difference, I think there's the green light is there. You need to just do it, get on that journey. And I really wish that I had someone to look up to 5 years down the line, or knew the fact that how great and food science was. But I wish students believe in themselves from the beginning itself and don't take the time to make that decision.
I could not have said it better myself. Thank you, Chaitya, and thank you, Julia, and thank you all of you for joining us for Academia Lab here at the ProteinX Career Fair.